right now? Okay. About 6 months ago, I was arrested on various marijuana charges in Union Square Park. It was the evening, and a young woman came on I had been in the park an hour feeding the squirrels, and a woman was walking by the west side of the park, and she said, anyone know where I can get some pot? And I said, I can get you some pot. And I wound up spending 10 to 15 minutes with her. I went to my apartment and got some pot, and I offered it to her free for 3 or 4 times. I think 4 times, actually. And she kept on saying, no, I'd rather pay for it. I'd really rather pay for it. And it was, yes, it's kind of like if a person, it's if you're at a restaurant expecting to pay the bill and someone insists on paying the bill. After they insist a few times, you let them pay the bill. So I said, okay, give her some money. And she gave me $40. I said, that's too much. I gave her back $10, and I left her. And about 15 or 20 seconds later, I was approached by a guy, and it was dark at this time. It turns out he was an undercover cop, and I'm certain he tried to get me to punch him. That was he wanted to escalate the arrest. What's going on in New York City right now is there isn't a crime problem, and we have a make-work program for cops. About 15% of the arrests in New York City now are for marijuana, and the cops don't have enough to do. And the cops actually should be thankful for that kind of situation. I was raised in a small town, Rhinebeck. We only had 1,000 or 2,000 people, and the cop might do 1 or 2 arrests a year. I don't know how many, but, and I'm not saying New York is quite like upstate New York, a small, nice town in upstate New York instead of the crummy towns in upstate New York. But if you have a situation where a cop doesn't have much to do in terms of arrests, 1 or 2 arrests a year, that's actually a good thing. And people should consider that a blessing, that they live in a society like that. And that's how the police should look at it. And they shouldn't be trying to look for make-work programs. So I'm calling now on asking Mayor de Blasio to be a real progressive. And even though the mayor does not have the power to legalize marijuana, he runs the city of New York. He can have a policy where generally all marijuana charges should be given a desk appearance ticket if people are involved in a marijuana incident. And that's if the cop wants to. There should be less pressure on it. And the mayor can try something like that temporarily. Try it for a month or 2. If it works out, it's fine. And it doesn't. You can also enforce laws by the neighborhood and by the precinct. Some neighborhoods might be hostile. There might be some conservative neighborhood in Queens with that just doesn't want any pot around any of their little kids or something. But if the mayor would do that, it would ease up things a lot, and it would be a big step towards a better world. Also, what I'd like the mayor to do, something a little bit separate, is he should try an experimental program with ibogaine for the treatment of hard drugs. Ibogaine is a cheap type of treatment. It only requires 1 day. It's a one-shot treatment with a very high success rate. So the name is ibogaine. People can Google it. And if people really want to help people who are on hard drugs, a drug like what ibogaine does is it reprograms the receptors in a person's brain. A person's brain receptors apparently get programmed by hard drugs to react in a certain way, and it gives people an option to get off it. So that's basically it. Was there anything else you wanted to cover? We talked about a number of things.
What was the outcome of the arrest?
On the 24th, that's 4 days from now, my trial is scheduled here at 100 Center Street. Okay?
Are you facing, is it a misdemeanor thing, or?
I'm facing 3 charges. Having to do, I don't know the exact charges, having to do with both possession and sale. The district attorney offered me 10 days community service. I'm not willing to take that for a few reasons. First of all, I don't want to have any record for selling marijuana. I'm not a drug seller. If they have to bust people like that and then say, oh, we arrested a drug seller, That's a bunch of baloney. What if I get in some kind of trouble again at some point in the future for something so stupid? Then I'm a repeat offender. So it's a bunch of baloney. And you had the district attorney did the same thing in this case that happened to me 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I'm well known for shooting 4 muggers. And the district attorney released a statement of mine when I was trying to figure out things that I shot one of the guys twice with the words, "You don't look too bad, here's another." And the district attorney didn't release at the time that nobody was shot twice. And that's when I was under the impression from reading the newspapers that somebody was shot twice. I was doing shot counting. I was trying to figure things out. The same thing happened here. The district attorney, if you read the papers, so when I was on the front page of the papers, I'm arrested for selling marijuana, and he released statements that I told her, do you want? She said she wanted to get stoned. I said, sure. You want to get high? I said, you want to get high, but he never let the public know that I offered it to her 4 times for free. And so you have in the papers that I'm a low-level drug dealer. As a matter of fact, for 2 weeks after I was released, in the 2-week time period, approximately 10 different people came up to me on the street with very sympathetic looks in their eyes, and they were under the impression I was selling, I was broke and selling drugs for a living in Union Square Park. And then they say, are you in trouble? It's like they wanted to offer me money, or one person did offer me money, or a place to stay. And that went on for 2 weeks after I came after that arrest. That was in the front page of the Daily News and the Post. And then, as a matter of fact, then it stopped. And then a few months after that, a person asked me again the same thing. And then, surprisingly, about a month ago, some old lady was walking by, and she gave me a look of recognition. And I said, I said, do I know you? And she said, no. I said, I thought I recognized you. I thought you were Bernie Goetz. And I said, well, I am Bernie Goetz. And she said, I read about you. You're a drug dealer. And I said, no. And she said, no, I read about you. You're a drug dealer, but it's because you had a bad childhood. The papers didn't say anything about the bad childhood. But anyway, so that's public. But anyway, if the DA is going to release details about any kind of arrest about a person, he shouldn't just release negative details, particularly if they're misleading, which the district attorney did in this case. And the trial was the 24th. And again, what I'm saying now, I'm sure I've been involved with, I'm in my later 60s. Over my life, police have maybe stopped me over 40 times. But I used to drive around the country a lot. It's been mostly traffic stops. And of course, in almost all arrests, you never have a situation where a cop tries to get someone to punch him. It just doesn't happen. Now, I suspect, though, that type of thing, though, that I'm sure this is not the general case, in the terms of the drug squads, you probably have more type of things of people trying to escalate things, setting people up. I know there's a lot of dirty stuff going on in that. I don't know if the cop recognized me prior to it, because some people have a little bit of a crazy reaction to me, and he figured that this might have been his opportunity with Bernie Goetz, and he wanted to make a big deal of it. Or this might have been his general policy. He might have a record of a lot of people saying, who he arrested, saying that he started a fight with them. And people sued the city.
Inciting assault.
Absolutely. What this guy did, and what he does is he tries to start a fight, but then he makes it look like you started it, and his buddies will back him up. And I put this on the internet. It's already dark, and I didn't understand what was saying, but he quickly approached me at night, and he brought his face within 2 feet of my face. Okay, it's at night you don't do that. If someone did that, most people's reaction, particularly people in the ghetto, if someone approaches you quickly, what do you do? Like that. Other people might dodge. I just stood there. That's my general reaction to crazy people, because I've had a lot of craziness in my life. This was right next to Union Square Park, correct? Yeah. But anyway, the cops don't have enough work to do. So right now they're busting lots of people for pot. Also, when I was in there, the evening I was arrested, about 80% of 80% of the people who were there for three quarters of the 24 on the line, when I was at 100 Center Street 6 months ago, when I was arrested on this, were black kids. Mostly, I say kids, they were in their mostly male, 20 to 30, well-dressed, generally, better dressed than you guys. Yeah. And they were somewhat like the hippies of the 60s, except the face was a different color. You know, and so that's what's going on. And they're spending a lot of resources just to make a lot of trouble for people and try to get people involved in the criminal justice system. I say take it to the jury, let a jury decide. This is just baloney. Now, if the district attorney wants to throw out the case, fine. If the district attorney wants to make a political thing out of this, if he wants to run for office, he's not going to do it by something stupid, like trying to set an example with marijuana arrests. In fact, I have a record for no, nothing on marijuana prior to this. I have a record for a gun carrying charge 30 years ago. What the district attorney should do, if he had some smarts, what people would like to see is people have a little bit of courage. And he could in Manhattan, he should just move to have all the outstanding marijuana arrests in Manhattan thrown out. Just have it all thrown out. And he'd be popular. He'd have a whole constituency that would support him, and he'd also get some headlines.
Mr. Goetz, did you speak publicly about pot before your arrest?
No, I did not. I've spoken publicly about vegetarianism a lot. Vegetarianism has been my main cause. When people would ask me about marijuana, though, I would always say, yes, I smoke. I've smoked regularly since I've been 18.
So is this fair to say that this arrest kind of prompted you to speak more publicly about it?
Yes, to get involved. And again, I have two things to say. What the mayor should do is have the cops in New York temporarily for the next month or two give desk appearance tickets for marijuana, if they even want to. If the cop just tells someone stop, it's up to the cop. But he should give them desk appearance tickets. And if the mayor really wants to help people with drug rehabilitation, try a small experimental program with ibogaine. It's cheap. It's a one-shot treatment. The person has to be supervised for a day because it has to be done under medical supervision, and see how it works out. You can do a program with 10 or 100 people. It's legal in Canada. It was invented here in the U.S. and it's the most effective. The people who are the most knowledgeable about drugs will tell you that ibogaine works. I'm knowledgeable about pot somewhat, but I'm not too knowledgeable about ibogaine. I'm not a heavy drug user. My shirt says very little. It has a marijuana plant on it, and it has a button for vegetarianism, which is my main issue. Okay, I think that's about it. If anyone, so thank you, and if anyone has anything else to say, whoever's next.
Thank you very much. One more question. HCLU beer